Hello and welcome everybody. It is Monday night. It is 7:30, which means it is time for another 407 and Beyond live show. So whether you are watching us live and joining in on the conversation or watching us back in our videos, we welcome you. Thanks a lot for being here and we look forward to a fun discussion. So it looks like some folks are already trickling in. I'll do some housekeeping here at the beginning as folks join the show tonight, and then we will get to tonight's topic of our top 5 attractions at Disney's Hollywood Studios. So it looks like Lydia's here. Lydia says that she is planning on going to Hollywood Studios soon and can't wait to experience Galaxy's Edge for the first time. Yeah, Lydia, I hope to be there with you as you experience Galaxy's Edge for the first time. So trying to make that happen. So actually, Lydia and Casey just got dinner over at Polynesian's Kona Cafe. Got dinner the other night, so catch us later this week as we interview Lydia about her dining experience at Kona Cafe, what it was like at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort, how busy it was, and we asked them about how their dinner went. So make sure you catch us later on this week for an interview with with Lydia. Casey is already commenting on the dinner and he says it was fantastic. I'm sure it was. I've never had a bad meal at Kona Cafe. So, hey, Susan is here tonight. She's getting excited, choosing our itinerary tonight. Susan, remind me where you're going. It sounds like you're going on vacation, which is exciting. So let me know. I want to hear all about it. So before we get to tonight's topic, I want to say we did not have a show last week here on Monday night because we were at the parks. We were doing some vlogging and some videos, which you might have seen on our YouTube channel or our videos on Facebook, experiencing what the parks were like and what they're currently like after the reopening with park pass reservations, capacity, wait times, dining, and all of that. So if you have not seen our in-park vlogs, visit our YouTube channel at 407 and Beyond Vacation Company or check out our videos on our Facebook page. They are there in the videos and there are links to the YouTube videos. So if you want to know what the parks were like, check out our vlogs there. And join us, make sure to join us next Monday night at 7:30 because we have a special guest, one of our new vacation planners, new to the team at 407 and Beyond, Alex Werber. She and her family just got back from a weeks-long vacation at Walt Disney World, and so we're going to ask her questions about what her experience was like, what it was like taking kids there, and just ask her some questions about her vacation. So make sure you join us next Monday night at 7:30 for an interview with our new vacation planner, Alex, and her family's experience inside the parks. So, Susan says she is planning a trip to Disney World. 4 parks got bumped over to, oh good, Pop Century. Excellent. Susan, that sounds exciting. When are you going? Remind me when you're heading there. All right, and then as always, the 407 and Beyond podcast and live show is sponsored by 407 and Beyond Vacation Company, Disney and Universal experts who help plan your family's perfect vacation. So all you have to do is show up, have fun, and create family memories. As always, our services are free to you. Visit us on the web at www.407vacations.com. And to stay up to date on all the vacation news, whether it be Universal, Disney, Disney Cruise Line, Adventures by Disney, visit our travel blog at 407vacations.com/travel blog. And you can also catch our vlogs on our blog page as well. So, with all of that, before we get going, please share us on your personal Facebook page. Invite your friends. The more the merrier. I hope to get your guys' top 5 attractions at Hollywood Studios. And of course, if we can have more friends who love Disney as much as we do, we invite them. So please share us on your Facebook page and invite and tag some friends on to tonight's show. So with that, guys, I am ready to discuss my top 5 attractions at Disney's Hollywood Studios. So this was a little bit more difficult than I anticipated. As you guys know, Disney's Hollywood Studios is full of you know, thrill attractions and some of the latest attractions, especially at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and Toy Story Land. Mixed in with classic attractions like Hollywood Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster. So tonight's top 5 was extremely difficult to narrow it down to 5. But I hope you guys did as well, and share those in the comments with me. I'll pop those up on the screen and we will have a conversation about that. Susan says, she's heading November 25th to December 5th, dying to see it decorated for Christmas. Susan, have you seen it decorated for Christmas? Because if not, it is absolutely wonderful. Disney is one of my favorite places to be during the holidays. In fact, we just posted a video on our Facebook page this week, getting a little taste of what it's like at Christmas at Disney, with some highlights of Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Parade and Fireworks Show. So if you're interested in that, check out our Facebook page on some highlights of the Christmas party. And speaking of that, the Halloween party series has been canceled at the Magic Kingdom, and we're kind of forecasting that the Christmas party will go the same way. So Susan, I can't wait to hear about your trip. Really excited about that. So Lydia says, I feel like I can't give an honest lineup since I haven't been to Galaxy's Edge yet. Those attractions, no spoilers, but kind of spoilers. Those attractions are definitely in the top 5. They just have to be. So can't wait for Toy Story Land. We missed it the last time. Yeah, you're going to love it. Send me some photos, because you're going to love it, and I want to know what your favorite part of Toy Story Land is. So Rachel says she just has a top 3. Star Tours, Toy Story Mania, and Tower of Terror. That's a good lineup, Rachel. What happened to the other 2? Is it just you just like those 3 attractions and that's it, or why the 3? But those are good 3, by the way. So Elizabeth says, love your shirt. Thank you. Had to wear it tonight. It is kind of a spoiler for the attractions that are on my top 5. So, Susan says she's never seen Walt Disney World decorated for Christmas. Susan, you're going to love it. It's the best. That's all I'll say. And Rachel says there's a lot in Hollywood Studios that she hasn't experienced. Rachel, that means you just have to go back and experience it. And then you can fill in the rest of your list. So, Rachel, you have a lot of attractions to get to in Toy Story Land and Galaxy's Edge, but you already have a good list. So, and Rachel says that she's looking forward to riding more in 2021. Oh, Lydia says, oh my gosh, I do love Tower of Terror, those spooky vibes. It is a great attraction. It may or may not show up on my list tonight, and we'll talk about that. And speaking of which, let's get started here on my top 5 attractions at Disney's Hollywood Studios. I have my notes here, and I am ready to go. So, coming in at number 5, we will count down from 5 to 1. Coming in at number 5 is Toy Story Mania over at Toy Story Land. Now, this attraction existed before Toy Story Land was the add-on to Hollywood Studios. They have changed the entrance and the queue. And as you're going into the queue, you are entering Andy's room. And so you are shrunken down to the size of a toy. And so as you're walking through the queue, there are board game pieces and playing cards that are the same height as you, and a bunch of toys and classic games. So when you're in the queue, you pick up a special pair of 3D glasses, which help you in the game. And there are several reasons why Toy Story Mania is on my list. One, I love that it's interactive. It's not just a ride. You're not just going through, but you're playing a game. And a couple of notes I have on Toy Story Mania is that it gets super competitive, especially depending on who you are with. So I have gone with family and friends who it is a straight-on competition of who can get the most points on Toy Story Mania, and that's what makes it fun. And in correlation with that, I will say every time I get off this attraction, my arm is killing me because I am trying to shoot so fast at the games. So The theming is a carnival-style game. You have a spring action shooter that shoots different things at different targets as you progress around the ride. There are different stations. In fact, there are 5 games to play as the tram spins and slides you to the next station. The first station is ham and eggs, where you fire hard-boiled eggs at targets in the barnyard. Then you go to Rex and Trixie's Dino Darts, which is one of my favorites, where you launch darts and pop balloons. And here's a little bit of a spoiler that I learned from my friend Evan, is that if there is kind of a bonus here, and that volcano will open up if you hit all the right spots and get enough points. And then there are balloons that come up that are worth a ton more points. So you really want the volcano to open up. The Green Army Men. Shoot Camp is where you shoot baseballs at dinner plates, which is a lot of fun, especially hearing the sound effects of all of the dishes breaking. Followed by Buzz Lightyear's Flying Tossers, where it's a ring toss game, and you try to catch them on aliens. And then you wrap up with Woody's Rootin' Tootin' Shootin' Gallery. Say that 3 times fast. So you shoot darts at targets. That's inspired by the Woody's Roundup TV show. The nice thing about this game is it really is for all ages. There is no height limit, and whether you are with your kids, your spouse, your brother, your sister, your grandparents, it doesn't matter. This attraction is fun for everybody. So I've been on with kids where you just try to hit some targets and they love hitting the targets. And then I've ridden with brothers and brother-in-laws where it is an all-out competition. So this is just a nice, really fun experience, and it's just so well themed, being shrunken down in Andy's bedroom, that it's a lot of fun. So, all right, let me catch up with some comments here. So Lydia says that she loves Toy Story Land so much. It is a great addition to Disney's Hollywood Studios. I'm so glad that they did it. It really is one of my favorite lands right now. So Elizabeth says that she will win. Elizabeth is very competitive, but I always win. So she'll love that comment. Toy Story is great for all ages, from my husband to our 4-year-old. Meredith, how are you? Thanks for joining tonight. And I imagine Kyle is pretty good at it. Kyle, Meredith's husband. So Susan says, I might just spend my whole day in Toy Story Land. Yeah, you definitely could spend a lot of time there. 3 attractions: Alien Swirling Saucers, Slinky Dog Dash, you may or may not see that later on this show, and then Toy Story Mania. It's so great walking through. Woody's Lunchbox is the dining option, quick service dining option there. Unfortunately, it is closed right now as one of the quick service locations that's been temporarily suspended. But you can take a lot of great photos in Toy Story Land. And I don't want to get too far off the topic, but there are also really good meet and greets. Buzz, Woody, Jessie, meet and greets, and then the Green Army Men walking around playing the drums. It's just a lot of fun in that land, and listening to the music is really cool. So, all right, let's see. And Lydia is sharing in the comment section below an article on why to visit Toy Story Land. So make sure you check that out. It is on our travel blog, and you can also find that on our Facebook page. So scroll down in the posts. So Harlow says that she loves the Slinky Dog Dash a lot. It is a great attraction. I love it too. But let's hold off conversation on Slinky Dog Dash because it just might be coming up in just a bit. So Casey says he has his top 5 ready to go, and he says Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy. Casey, you might be the only person with that attraction on your list. So I appreciate that somehow it made your list. Tower of Terror, it's always a little dicey call for me because of motion sickness, but Tower of Terror, great attraction. Toy Story Mania. And then he says it's going to be premature because he hasn't visited yet, but is visiting soon. Smuggler's Run and Rise of the Resistance. All right, very good. So coming in at number 5, Toy Story Mania. All right, heading on over to the number 4 favorite attraction at Disney's Hollywood Studios is Smuggler's Run. So Casey, you called it there. You're predicting it to be your number 2. But Smuggler's Run over in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. There's so much going on at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and this is a really great attraction where you get to actually fly and sit in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon, and you get to take on one of three roles: a pilot, an engineer, or a gunner. And so in the photo right here, the pilots sit up in the front, and you can see the levers there in the middle. That's what takes you to hyperspace. And the pilot on the right-hand side, in that right farmost seat, actually gets to pull the lever to take everybody into hyperspace. Which I got to do, and I absolutely love it. It just fulfilled a childhood dream, not only of riding in the Millennium Falcon, not only piloting in the Millennium Falcon, but getting to put the Millennium Falcon into hyperspace just, blew everything else out of the water. So this experience really does kind of depend on your crew, because believe it or not, this too is also a game. And the gunners, the engineers, and the pilots all work together. And depending on how you guys work together in the cockpit is how what you see going on the screen. And as Disney always does, as that extra layer of detail, depending on how you do, is if you do really poorly, the lights start to go out, things start coming off from the walls and dangling a little bit. Lights are flickering like there's damage done to the Millennium Falcon. So this attraction just takes it to a whole other level. And people have compared it to Star Tours that's also in Hollywood Studios. And this is not like Star Tours. It is that in the sense that it's a motion simulator, but this is interactive. It is intimate. There's 6 people in the cockpit, and it truly feels like you are riding in the Millennium Falcon. So riders must be 38 inches or taller to ride this attraction, so it is not for everybody, and it is a bit of intense. One thing I want to say about this attraction is that the queue is really great. So as you enter into the queue, you pass a life-size Millennium Falcon, and as you progress through the queue, you actually hit a second floor that overlooks the Millennium Falcon. So you get a top-down look at the Millennium Falcon ship itself. So the queue sets it up really well. You walk into the room where the chessboard is, and then they divide you up into your teams of 6, and you enter into your respective cockpit and have the experience of a lifetime. So Smuggler's Run definitely makes the list, and it comes in at number 4. One last thing I'll say about Smuggler's Run is it has received a little bit of criticism, but anything compared to Rise of the Resistance is going to lose. And so I don't compare this to Rise of the Resistance. I see it as a complement to Rise of the Resistance and to Galaxy's Edge as a whole. And that's just how I view it. And when you view it like that, I think it definitely stands up to other attractions and comes in at number 4. So let's check out what comments we have. Casey, I know what you're thinking. There is Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy right behind Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith, and it's a show, so no reason, not your bad, no big deal. It actually is an attraction in Hollywood Studios. Lydia says in regards to the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, can you see well if you're sitting in the back? Yes, it is elevated a little bit. As you go back, that way the people in the back have a view. One thing I have heard about this attraction is if you are the engineer, your buttons are actually to the side, and so you're not actually looking at the screen the entire time. And so people who get the engineer spot sometimes feel like they've missed out on the attraction, but everybody is able to see. But if you are busy as the gunner or engineer, you might miss out what's going on the screen a little bit. So that's why my advice is be the pilots. It's where the most fun is. So Meredith says she's excited to go back to Star Wars Land, back at Galaxy's Edge, and visit Black Spire Outpost. Yeah, we were just there a couple weeks ago. Have the park vlogs up. Check that out. Obviously, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge on the planet of Batuu was the most crowded of any of the lands at Hollywood Studios, but rightfully so because it is the most popular. So, Casey says he's going to have to take all of the motion sickness meds. Yeah, especially if you're going to ride Smuggler's Run. So, it'll move you around, and it's a motion simulator. So if you are prone to motion sickness, just be careful on this attraction. So, all right. Coming in at number 3. So we have Toy Story Mania at 5, Star Wars Smuggler's Run on the Millennium Falcon at 4, and at number 3, we are heading back to Toy Story Land for Slinky Dog Dash. So Harlow, we are coming back to your favorite coaster here. And actually, surprisingly, this has become one of my favorite roller coasters as well. So it is built for children. You do have to be 38 inches or taller to ride it, but it is built for kids, tweens, teens, and adults, according to Disney. And again, it shrinks you down to the size of a toy. Just like we were at Toy Story Mania when we were inside Andy's room, now we are in Andy's backyard where Andy has assembled his Mega Coaster Play Kit. And Slinky Dog takes you on a wild ride as you whip around all of these toys. So I personally really like this attraction. When it was first built, it was hard to tell whether or not this would be a barnstormer at the Magic Kingdom type situation where it was just for little kids. It was going to be a short attraction. But no, Disney does it right. It is good for everybody from kids to adults. This attraction is longer than I expected. It is more thrilling than I expected, and surprisingly, it's become one of my favorite roller coasters at Disney. The way that I would compare it is close to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train over at the Magic Kingdom, but just a little bit longer and a little bit more thrilling. So it is fun to whip in and out of Tall Grass and Tinker Toys and Lincoln Logs and all that stuff. And so riding on Slinky Dog, which is the ride mechanism or train, is a lot of fun. There's coils between each of the seats, excuse me. And my recommendation for Slinky Dog Dash is if your kids are 38 inches or taller and they are adventurous, that Slinky Dog Dash does make for a makes for a good first roller coaster for a child. So it's just enough. Like it's not intense, but it's also thrilling at the same time. It just strikes this really nice balance. So Slinky Dog Dash, I think, is wonderfully themed. I think the ride overall is thrilling, and it's just enough balance between being really thrilling for kids, but also fun for adults. So let's see. Rachel says, I really want to ride Slinky, but the line was so long. I may have lied to my daughter and told her she was too short. Rachel, we've all been there. I have heard a lot of stories of folks doing that before. That is funny. But I hope the next time you get there, Rachel, that you are able to ride it with your daughter. I think she's really going to like it, and I think you're going to like it a lot too. So Slinky Dog Dash does warrant kind of long wait times just because it is so popular with families, and it is the main attraction at Toy Story Land. It is dominating in sight as you walk into Toy Story Land. It is what you see the most of. And it is the most thrilling attraction in Toy Story Land. So definitely warrants long wait time. So whenever Fast Pass Plus comes back, if you don't know, that is temporarily suspended. But when it does come back, Slinky Dog Dash definitely warrants a Fast Pass for you and your family. So yeah, all right, excellent. So that was number 3, Slinky Dog Dash. Let's head on over to number 2. And coming at number 2, we're not in Toy Story Land, we are not in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, but we are back at an original and classic attraction, Hollywood Tower of Terror. So the Hollywood Tower of Terror it takes place inside the infamous Hollywood Tower Hotel, where you walk into a very dusty lobby, like it hasn't been cleaned in decades. And then, one thing about this attraction that's so great is that the cast members play into the environment. So they are acting strangely, or they are acting kind of in a haunting manner, which just adds to the whole aura of Hollywood Tower of Terror. So you walk into the lobby, and then from the lobby there's a video room, and a TV set comes on, and it's Rod Serling from the popular TV show Twilight Zone that was aired from 1959 to 1964. Pardon me. And what Rod Serling tells those guests about to board an elevator is that on a gloomy Halloween night in 1939, some hotel patrons were riding the elevator when a violent storm struck the building, and they were never seen again. And so then the doors open, and you are taken to a room to board the elevator. So it sets the scene that you are in the Twilight Zone, and you are about to board this abandoned elevator in an abandoned shaft. The reason why this makes number 2 on my list isn't because it's the most thrilling, but it's just classic Disney theming and kind of immersiveness between the cast members and the decor and the lobby being dusty and the uniforms of the cast members here. Everything about it just screams kind of classic, and it has taken over as the park icon. So the Great Movie Ride was once the park icon, and the big Mickey Sorcerer's Hat was once the icon, but Tower of Terror has taken that responsibility over. The attraction is thrilling. I love being able to look out over the park from the top of the attraction. So it is thrilling, but it makes my list at number 2 because of its theming. I love the soundtrack. I love the gift shop after. It has all these great Hollywood Tower of Terror merchandise, from hats and t-shirts to picture frames. So there's just a whole lot going on for Hollywood Tower of Terror. And Rachel says, I would be so sad if they changed it. Yeah, I don't think that Hollywood Tower of Terror right now is touchable. I think it's going to stay exactly as it is. I will say that I have ridden Mission Breakout over at Disney's California Adventure, which used to be Hollywood Tower of Terror out there at Disneyland. And I really like the changes that they made out in Disneyland, but I just don't want the changes to come here to Walt Disney World. So, well, Casey says, how does the original compare to the new Guardians version? Well, the version here at Hollywood Studios is spooky. It's 1939. You're in the Twilight Zone. And so it's set to be scary. Over at Disney's California Adventure, Guardians Mission Breakout is actually fast-paced with rock music. And it's just a totally different experience, which is why I like it. And I hope that those two stay the same and that there's no changing of themes here at Disney World. Let's see. Casey says, I ride this every time. You should be fine. Just make sure you have 30 minutes to sit down afterwards. It does jostle the stomach. It is up and down and free falling. You do come out of your seat, which is it's just a great experience. And just being in the elevator shaft that's old and rickety and haunted just makes this attraction even more exciting. So, Kyle says his mother-in-law is terrified of Tower of Terror. Photos are priceless. A lot of people are terrified of Tower of Terror. It's not that bad. Kyle, I hope your mother-in-law is able to ride it again when you go back so you can snag another good photo. So, Lydia says out west, the Hollywood version was a lot shorter and kind of lame. So I think that's why people were okay with the change. Yes, the original Tower of Terror at Disneyland was different, less drops, and it was shorter. And with the rock music now and the Guardians of the Galaxy's characters on screens as you go up and down, that's another big change. They've installed screens, so every time you stop, you see Guardians of the Galaxy's characters. That and the rock music makes it just an overall very, very exciting attraction. So, so Rachel, I agree that it'd be sad if they changed it, going back to your original comment. But I don't think that they will. But don't hold me to it. So, Yeah, if you can, check out the pictures at the end of the ride. They are there in the right before you get to the gift shop. Usually they are really funny. So if you have Disney's Memory Maker, you get you purchase up front the ability to take all of the photos that you've taken, whether it's by a cast member or on an attraction. And so a lot of families really like that option. So they have the photos from the trip, and you don't have to worry about taking your own or buying ride photos separately. So again, coming in at number 2, Tower of Terror. Again, just iconic. The music is great. I love just standing outside the Tower of Terror, listening to the music, which is where I took this photo. Again, everything about it is just iconic, and that's why it comes in at number 2 for me. So, coming in at number 1. So, this is probably no surprise to anybody. We haven't said it yet on the list, so you knew it had to be coming, but of course, coming in at number 1, my favorite must-do attraction at Disney's Hollywood Studios is Rise of the Resistance. So this, I can't imagine this not coming in on anyone's top 5, but I can't imagine that it's not on too many people's number 1. This attraction is state of the art. It is the best attraction that I have ever been on, and I would argue the best attraction in a theme park right now. So if you are new to Rise of the Resistance, it is a massive attraction with multiple ride systems. That's unlike anything else. It is hidden away in the forest outside of Blackspire Outpost, where the Resistance is gathering recruits for a secret mission, and you become one of those recruits for the Resistance. So when I said that there are multiple ride vehicles, there are multiple ride vehicles. You get into a spaceship that transports you, that gets overtaken by the First Order. You get taken prisoner. Then you find yourself on a Star Destroyer. And then you get into the ride vehicle. And when you're in the ride vehicle, it takes you around the Star Destroyer as you're trying to break out. You run into multiple stormtroopers and Kylo Ren. You'll weave in and out of cannon fire as the First Order fires upon the Resistance, and then at the end of the attraction, you actually detach from the Star Destroyer and you fly safely back to Batuu. I am telling you guys, this attraction is unlike any other. It is long, it is exciting, and it feels like you have been dropped in the middle of a movie. There's nothing else like this. And the photo that I chose of the lineup of stormtroopers, as you get taken hostage and prisoner by the First Order, you go into this hangar with ships that are on the wall and on the ground, and there is just lines of stormtroopers, animatronics. And as you walk into that hangar, the First Order is telling you where to go, and they take you down a hallway adjacent to the hangar bay. But you walk in, it is such a powerful experience being there with all these stormtroopers, just standing there looking at you. The screen in the back is actually a real screen that is used, and there are spaceships and starfighters going on in the background, so it really does feel like you are in a hangar. And then just as you progress through this attraction, what also makes it part of the immersive experience are the cast members. So the cast members that are either or that are part of the First Order, you can't get them to smile, you can't get them to talk. They are just telling you where to go because you are their prisoner, and that just adds to it. I have heard people say that they're actually a little bit frightened on this attraction, not because of how the ride mechanism works or how the ride is, but because the cast members are just so serious that they actually feel like they have been taken prisoner. So it is just 100% absolutely immersive. Let me get to some comments on this real quick. Rachel says she always does Memory Maker. I think that's a smart choice. It's relatively, you get a lot of value for the price that you pay for it. Plus you get all those photos that you can download on your My Disney Experience app. So Rachel, I think that's a great choice. let's see. Meredith says she can't wait for this ride. I can't wait for you to ride this ride. You're going to have to let us know immediately after you ride it what you thought of it. But I can already tell you, you're going to love it. So I look forward to you riding that as well. Lydia says, is the ride nauseating at all? Not really. It does, move you around kind of quickly. You are in a ride vehicle that sits 3 and 3. This is a trackless ride system, and so it does move you pretty good. But I wouldn't say it's not like a motion simulator. It's not like Star Tours, Smuggler's Run, and it's not like Rock and Roller Coaster. So it's kind of like that nice in between. Maybe a little bit like the feeling of Dinosaur or the feeling of Indiana Jones out at Disneyland. Maybe you could compare it to that. I didn't find it nauseating, but I also don't get nauseous on attractions. Which makes me also recall that on Rise of the Resistance, there's a part where you go into this room, and there's 2 AT-ATs, and not only are you at the feet of the AT-ATs in your vehicle, but you back up, you're looking right at the AT-AT's feet, and it pulls you up, and so you become face-to-face with the windows and the windshields of the AT-AT vehicles, and they start shooting at you. That is an intense portion of the attraction, but between part of the queue being the stormtroopers in the hangar bay, and then seeing the AT-ATs in real life and trying to escape their cannon fire, the attraction is it's just simply the best. In fact, I think they made a song, simply the best, and it was about Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Casey says he's getting goosebumps just hearing about it. Casey, I hope I'm with you when you ride this attraction for the first time. So let's make sure that happens. If it's like Dinosaur, I will be good. That's good. Again, probably a little more intense than Dinosaur, but really it is close. So if you're good on Dinosaur, I think you might be good from a motion sickness standpoint on Rise of the Resistance. Lydia says, how big is that room, referring to the hangar bay with the stormtroopers? It's massive. It took me back the first time I walked in there. So this is not just a normal queue room. This room is massive enough where there are starships and cruisers and spaceships in the hangar. It's not just a hangar, but there's actually some mounted on the wall. And that screen you see in the back of the photo, I'll pull it up here. This screen back there behind the stormtroopers is massive. It is like a large IMAX screen. So it's definitely intimidating, and it feels like you are on the set of a movie. But even beyond the set of a movie, it feels like you have been dropped into a Star Wars movie. So Kyle asked a good question. He says, do you think the Star Wars section of Hollywood Studios has set the bar for future park developments? Absolutely. We're going to see more and more attractions like Rise of the Resistance in the future. And I will say that Disney and Universal have been going back and forth now for years on how immersive they can make lands and attractions. And as soon as Universal started the Wizarding World of Harry Potter and had Hogsmeade with the Forbidden Journey, and then opening up Diagon's Alley and having Escape from Gringotts, and then most recently Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure, Disney and Universal are definitely pivoting against each other, and you know who benefits the most from that is us, the consumer and the guests. So this Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is definitely Disney's response to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter at Universal. And then also, Disney's response was Pandora before Galaxy's Edge over at Animal Kingdom. So, Kyle, I think that's a great question. I think you're absolutely right, and that those two pivot off of each other. And again, we only benefit because we're getting attractions like Flight of Passage at Pandora. We're getting Rise of the Resistance at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and we're getting all the great stuff coming from the Wizarding World of Harry Potter over at Universal. So where Rise of the Resistance is the best attraction in an Orlando theme park that, and the best attraction I've been on personally, I still think the best themed land right now is Diagon Alley over at Universal Orlando. So Meredith says, are there any future plans for more rides in Galaxy's Edge? Not as of right now. I think they're done with Galaxy's Edge. I I haven't heard of any plans to expand Galaxy's Edge, whether it be here at Disney World or out at Disneyland, where there's also Galaxy's Edge. But I will say that there is so much to do in Galaxy's Edge that you could spend a day there. It's really like, I'll go back to it again, the Wizarding World over at Universal Orlando, where you can go to the theme park and you can spend all day in Diagon Alley or Hogsmeade. Just like that, you can spend all day in Galaxy's Edge, whether it be Olga's Cantina, drinking blue or green milk, going to the quick service dining locations and getting yourself a Ronto wrap, which I got in our vlog. So make sure you check out our vlog at Hollywood Studios on our YouTube page and on our travel blog page on our website. That and the shopping and the antiquities and building your own lightsaber and then waiting in line for the 2 attractions. You can definitely spend all day in Galaxy's Edge. And speaking of the queue for this attraction, this is the only attraction on Disney property right now that has and uses a virtual queue. So what that means is that it's not the normal, you just wait in the line, wait your turn and get on the attraction. You have to make a reservation or a boarding pass on your My Disney Experience account, and those open up right now at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. So at 10 a.m., you log on to your My Disney Experience account app on your phone. You try to make a boarding pass. If you don't get one, you get a second chance to get one at 2 p.m. And those can be for any time throughout the day. And availability is obviously subject to the capacity and the limit of guests at the park that day and how many want and get a boarding pass. So a little tip from me is that when you're looking to get a boarding pass, turn off your Wi-Fi and use your data, because everybody else is trying to use the Disney free Wi-Fi in the parks, and it will slow down your mobile app and your phone, and you might just miss out on getting a boarding pass. So that's my advice. So I would be remiss if I did not mention one last attraction. I know I already have 5, and just to do a quick recap: number 5, Toy Story Mania; number 4, Smuggler's Run; number 3, Slinky Dog Dash; number 2, Tower of Terror; and number 1, Rise of the Resistance. But I have to mention one honorable mention, and that is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. So this is the latest and newest attraction at Disney's Hollywood Studios. I have not been able to ride it. When they premiered it, just before the parks closed down because of COVID, I was not able to make it down there. And then when I was there a couple weeks ago, the lines flirted between 45 and 55 minutes. And so I did not wait in line. I was just walking around looking at crowd levels and stuff. But excuse me, I will be back in a couple of weeks and do plan on riding the Runaway Railway, and that's why it makes the honorable mention list tonight, because I imagine that after I ride this attraction, it could find itself and slide up into my top 5 attractions at Hollywood Studios. So I am looking forward to that attraction, riding the Runaway Railway at Hollywood Studios. And after I write it, if I do change my list, I'll post it in the comments below. But I am super excited for this brand new attraction. So guys, that is it for tonight. Those are my top 5 attractions at Disney's Hollywood Studios. What are your favorite attractions at Hollywood Studios? Put them in the comments below. If you are watching this and it's not live and you're rewatching it, that's fine. Post it in the comments below. Let us know your thoughts. The more people we have here, the merrier. So please share this video on your Facebook page. Invite friends by tagging them. And remember, next Monday night at 7:30, please join us again for another live event. I think you're really going to like it. We have one of our new vacation planners, Alex, joining us, talking about her family's most recent stay at Walt Disney World just last week, where she's going to talk about crowd levels and the experience of taking kids to the parks during the current travel climate and environment. So make sure you join us next week at 7:30. And always, if you, a friend, a family member is thinking about going to Walt Disney World or Universal, or you want to book a Disney cruise for 2021, please visit us at www.407vacations.com, where you work with a vacation planner for free. And we will help plan your family's perfect vacation. So guys, thanks a lot for joining me tonight. I appreciate you joining in on the conversation, and I hope you take care. check us back later this week for an interview with Lydia about her dining experience at Polynesian Village Resort's Kuna Cafe, and check us back next Monday night at 7:30. So take care, have a good week, and I'll see you later.